Welcome students of Form 3. Welcome to this video. We are talking about paragraph 6 of chapter 2 called Functions of Institutions. So as you know, it's always smart to get this paragraph in front of you if you didn't already, so you'll know what we're talking about. And we're working on paragraph 6, chapter 2, Functions of Institutions. So the question here is, why do we have institutions that we have? I talked already about the regulatory institutions. I talked already about retail. I talked about the church in the former videos, the Catholic Church. I talked about NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Why do we have institutions? Why do we need them in our society? We're going to talk about that. And the learning outcome of this paragraph is as following. So before you start studying for the big test during the exam, during test week, and beginning in, I believe, the 18th of February, Tuesday, the 18th of February. Well, before you begin studying, look carefully for each learning outcome. Here you have to evaluate. Evaluate means looking at the pros, looking at the cons, looking at it from different directions, and giving like a final judgment about these functions of institutions in society. So evaluate the functions of institutions in society. This is the learning outcome. And keep in mind what we mean by the behavioral verb evaluate. On the syllabus of social studies that you can find in Teams also, but also online, the CSEC syllabus, social studies, look at the behavior verbs in the register and please find for yourself what does evaluate mean. This is one of the more difficult, more complex behavior verbs, but very important. So evaluate the functions of institutions in society. I've said this in the former video, the many needs of a society. So society has many needs, are usually allocated, given, handed out to one of the divided. Actually, it's better. The many needs of a society are usually divided in the following categories. That of the economy. Economy is everything that has to do with money. Educational, enseñanza, everything that has to do with teaching children things in life. Recreational, what you do in your spare time. Religious or political. Yeah. So here you see the DOS, dienstuitvoering, what is it? Uitvoering onderwijs. Anyway, the educational department of Curaçao, the DOS, is a very important part of that. Dienst onderwijs sector, something like that. Then we have religious. That is of course here. That's the cathedral in Pietermaai. Yes, but we also have recreational, and yet you can find of course here the Tumba Festival that you can see here. Yes, so we have also other categories. We have also like religious affair, we have also economic and political, and those have all kinds of institutions too. But these three are just a few examples. The DOS, the Pietermaai Cathedral, and also Tumba Festival as in recreational. Yeah, so everything I explained, try to think of an example on the island, on our island of Curacao. Economic. Let's start with the money economy. The economy of society consists of the various systems that produce and manage resources and the money that is used as the medium of exchange. Yeah, exchange em papiamento significa cambio. So when we buy hair cream, just on the table, we buy hair cream, or when we buy Gillette razors, yeah, or when we buy flip-flops, we use money to exchange one for the other. We use it as medium of exchange. Then we have, in that economic sector, we have primary industries that produce raw materials. yeah, such as ore. It can be of iron or bronze or other ores, gold or food. Yeah. So raw materials. For instance, the raw material, vanificado papimento, materia prima. So when you buy something in your store, clothing, for instance, in materia prima can be cotton. Yeah. When you buy jam from your bread, the materia prima can be a kind of fruit, raw materials, such as ore and food. And secondary industries turn these raw materials into manufactured goods. So for instance, you have tamarijn, one of my favorite fruit, you could say, of the island. That's a raw material. And you get it from the tamarijn tree, and it's processed into a manufactured food, for instance, packaged and put into a neat package of equal weight. Yeah. Some of our tamarijn, for instance, comes from Thailand. Is even not even like grown on the island. It comes from abroad, from Asia. So here you see to the left, you see raw material, tamarijn, materia prima, and it's processed, packaged in a processing facility, and it becomes tamarijn you will buy into a package of equal weight in the store. But it can also be like furniture or packaged food, like I see here of tamarijn. Yes, and manufactured goods are producten non fabrica. Yeah, so you have the raw material that goes into a factory and it comes out of the factory being producten non fabrica. Think about the Lover's ice cream. They use all kinds of fruits, or they use all kinds of tastes like vanilla that goes into the factory, and out of the factory it becomes packaged ice. They add water to it, milk, sugar, tons of sugar, and it becomes a manufactured good. But also furniture and packaged food can be manufactured goods. Tertiary industries are concerned, before we go there, producten non fabrica on our island can also be like Coca-Cola. There's a Coca-Cola factory on our island, but also can mean the refinery when it was still active. It received raw oil and it processed it, it heated it, it did all kinds of things with it in the refinery, and it comes out, it becomes petroleum that you can use into your car. Then third, tertiary industries are concerned with the movement of goods or with providing a service to people or to other industries. Yeah, for instance, the TUI, they provide a service, riding people around the island and bringing people to the island or offering package deals to tourists. Another example are insurance companies that also provide a service to people, not so much into a product like hair cream or razors, yeah, but they provide a service, something you do for other people, un servicio, yeah, no un producto. Examples are tourism, like you can see to the left, or more close by, an insurance company that's actually close by to us in Salinia, I believe. Yes. Examples of tertiary industries are tourism, transport, finance, and insurance. So we have the primary industry. We've seen the secondary industry. And we have seen the tertiary industry. Make sure you understand what these are because they're coming back into the next chapters and also next year. Since money is involved in almost all exchanges, camionan, of wages and salaries for work, rents, investments, and distribution of profits, Canado, the institutions involved in finance, including banks, you see here the Orco Bank, and credit unions have a very important role. Yeah, this is a credit union. So money makes our society go around. It's involved in all exchanges of wages and salaries, rents, investments, and distribution of profits, Canado. Institution involved in finance, including banks, is such an institution, and credit unions, like you can see there, are also very important in our society. Very important. Educational. So You're now following an education on the Sky Pre-Universitario. Some people go to the Rodolphus, some people go to the University of Curaçao, and so we have a lot of schools on our island. And the educational institutions of a society are the schools, colleges, and universities. These institutions play a part, and now something very important comes in the socialization of individuals. Yeah, they transmit culture, they transmit values of society, they transmit religion that the society deems very important. Very important word, socialization. Yeah, keep it in mind. They also seek to increase people knowledge, conocimiento, y habilidad nan, to help them to achieve, para lograr nan potencial, totalmente, their full potential, and to prepare them for the full world of work. They do this by teaching basic skills, teaching knowledge and skills for specific jobs. So you want to be an animal doctor, so you want to be a manager, so you want to be a festival organizer. You need knowledge, conocimiento, y skills, habilidad dan paisaki, for specific jobs, but also for transmitting the culture, beliefs, norms, and values of society. Cultura, religión, norms y valores de la sociedad. They're being transmitted. E denk papiamento is que significa transmitir. Yeah. Developing critical thinking skills, very important. If you want to bring your country forward, you need to think critically and not just believe everything you hear. And addressing the spiritual, moral, thinking about good and evil, bad and correct, educational and physical development of each individual. And I want to zoom in on one of these, yeah, and that is transmitting the culture, beliefs, norms, and values of society. Very important, like you can see here. Transmitting, for instance, during Semana de Cultura, transmitting these belief systems and the norms and the values of society are also a big part of socialization. One generation wants to transmit their beliefs and ideas and values onto the next. Socialization. For instance, during Semana de Cultura, where dances and clothing styles and music are transmitted to the next generation. Yeah, socialization. But also, during this week, some of the Catholic schools went to church, for instance, in Bonam or Pieter Maai, to follow a Catholic sermon. And that is what schools do. They also transmit belief systems or ideas or ideologies. And this is a part of their transmission of the culture and belief systems from one generation to the next. What happens, for instance, during Semana de Cultura concerning culture, but some Catholic schools also during this period of time, we're now in December when I'm recording this video, they visit in December a Catholic sermon concerning Christmas to transmit the belief systems that they deem very important for their school-going children. Transmitting, tadificating papiamento transmitir. They transmit their culture, like you can see here, their beliefs, like you can see here, and the values of society that you can see here in all of them. Yeah, a very important task for the education in a country. And I hope this illustration made that very clear. Socialization is what we are talking about right now and what you can see in these pictures that you can see above. Transmittee is a part of socialization. Well, I hope this helped concerning education and concerning the money, the economy. We talked about the functions of institutions in our society. And the learning verb, the behavioral verb that we were talking about was evaluate. So keep that in the back of your head. There might be a question during the exam which starts with evaluate, and make sure you know what to do when it is involved into a question. If you want to subscribe, do that below. If you have a question, you can also ask that below or during class. For now, a big goodbye to you all.